Good day, everyone. So, I'm going to give you a little bit of an unpopular opinion, but I think it's really, really important to understand boundaries and how not everybody's wonderful, not everybody's perfect. So, I'm going to try to keep it short. I have no script on this one because I know that people don't want to watch an 11-minute video but have no problem binge watching Love is Blind or 90 Day Fiancé. So, I'm going to do my best to cut it down, but still say what I have to say. But in shamelessness, I'd like to share with you this is what Victoria and I have done for our first year anniversary a couple years ago. Thought it'd be nice to just stay in and do some painting and do like a split screen type of situation. So I guess I'll start with the idea of blood is thicker than water. Physically, it's not. It's literally water. The amount of blood cells that are in like a milliliter of water is like, I don't know, 3%. So, no. And that doesn't even really make sense in terms of loyalties. Things change, people change, perspective changes, access to information changes, facts come out. So the idea of loyalty sometimes is silly to me. In terms of relationships and marriage, yeah. But even that can change, especially in terms of relationships with family. So, I'm going to say what I have told a few people, a few younger people in my time. Not every family member is wonderful. You can't always just believe this family member or how hold them to such high regard. For example, well, that's my mother. That doesn't mean that she's flawless. She's a human being. And not only that, through your logic, all mothers are good. Well, there are mothers out there that are abusive. There are mothers out there that are serial killers. There are mothers out there that have done some horrible things. So, crackhead mother, gotta listen to her, right? There's one friend of mine who has kept her mother at arm's length. And as she's become an adult, she, grew up saying, oh, that's my mother. But her mother was a crackhead. As she got older, she kept her mother at arm's length and put boundaries. She put her line in the sand and said, I will have a relationship with my mother, but I understand that she's done some things wrong to me. She's stunted my growth as a person, and I'm not going to trust her as far as such and such because she's my mother. And it really shows a maturity in this young woman because she says, I want to be able to say, hi, mother, love you. Thank you for the things you have done, but not everything you've done has been great. And I understand what kind of person you are. And I'm going to have a relationship with you, but I'm going to put in certain parameters in our relationship. You don't have to go tell your mother this. You have to tell yourself this. I have another friend who has a sister who's constantly, oh, that's not good enough, or why are you doing this, or I think this is stupid, or everything that this person does is wrong, and don't need that fucking negativity in your life all the time. This is stupid, you're stupid, you don't mean anything, you're not worth anything, all this stuff. When they had lived together for a little bit, the circumstances, now that she's not in that environment, she's first off much happier because that stress is gone. But also, she said for a certain holiday, hey, you can come over for this holiday, but don't expect A, B, C, and D. This is how I'm going to do it in my house. If you can respect that, come on over and enjoy the time. But don't expect the things that you want because this is not your house and this is not your family and this is not your child. This is my house. This is my family. This is what I'm choosing to do as a tradition in my home. Kudos to you. You don't understand how important those things are. I've done the same thing with certain family members of mine where I have said, I'm not talking to you for years, because I feel this way about something. If you can't understand that and respect me as a man, then I don't need to interact with you. It didn't really go fantastically well for those years, but after a while, they said to themselves, I would rather have this person in my life than not. So we've come together, we've had a conversation, we've come to an agreement and an understanding, and it's made our relationship in my family much better because it shows that I'm going to go, I have my own opinions and my own beliefs and my own life. And even though my parents are always going to see me as like some 6-year-old boy, I'm fucking 40. Yeah, I'm going to have my own morals and they might not align with your morals, but we can still be family. Don't knock me for that. I'm putting my own line in the sand. Yes, I know that there were certain decisions that were not the greatest of decisions, and I admitted that while I was making those decisions. But I needed to do that because of my morals and what I wanted to accomplish in life. And now we have a better relationship for understanding each other. And ultimately, if you can have that with family members, that's fantastic. But you don't have to have a relationship with all of your family. You don't have to be friends with your family, especially if they've crossed your line, your personal boundary. And you need to let people know that. And you need to also be able to cut people off. Just because they're family doesn't mean that they're good for you. People are people. And some people are assholes. And just to keep that asshole around because they happen to be your sister or your mom or your cousin doesn't help you. What helps you is noticing this trend and saying, hey, if this person wasn't family, would I still keep them in my circle? And if the answer is no, then you have to reassess that and you have to say to yourself, okay, well, I can still have some sort of interaction with this person, but I'm going to set boundaries so that their negativity doesn't infect my world and my life. There has to be some sort of inner circle in which negativity doesn't invade it. And if you can't understand how to set boundaries so it doesn't, you're going to be constantly invaded by negativity and it's going to bring you down. I mean, who needs that extra stress? Life is stressful enough. Look, I know it's hard. I know it's difficult because you have history with somebody. But again, if you were to turn that around into a negative mate, boyfriend, girlfriend, or if you were to turn that around to an abusive, mentally or emotionally or even physically abusive partner, would you continue to let that happen? Or are you going to say, I need to get out of this situation. I need to separate myself? Because just because they're family doesn't really necessarily give them any special right to treat you that way. Just because you've had 10 years, 15 years, 25 years with a person, that time, that history, doesn't make up for the abuse that they're putting you through. If you've got a cousin that steals, don't let them in your house. Go meet them at their house. Go meet them outside. Make sure that you have your wallet or your purse near you at all times. Why is that different from a person who's constantly bringing you down or constantly making you feel horrible or telling you that everything that you do is wrong or just always complaining about something? There are ways to have interaction with people and relationships with people that have parameters. And you should enforce those boundaries and those parameters. If you had a friend that was, again, a thief, you would make every excuse to not have them in your house. Why can't you do the same thing for a family member who is a thief? Or a family member who's toxic? Or a family member who's always bringing you down? What I'm trying to say is ultimately, people are people. It doesn't matter if they're your family. They are subject to the same flaws that every other human being is. And some of them are worse than normal. And it's okay to put your foot down. It's okay to set boundaries It's okay to have contingencies in your relationship. And if you want to keep them at arm's length, that's okay. Don't let anybody make you feel bad for keeping somebody a little bit farther away from your circle of peace. That's it. Just wanted to say that, guys. Have a good day.